Okay, Mr. Bucky has some stories this morning. In a rare mood, he's agreed to tell them on camera instead of just telling them to me. So here we go. Take it away, Mr. Bucky.
All right, I've got two college stories that I didn't include the first time. Um, the first one has to do, I was at University of South Carolina in my freshman year at the University of South Carolina, and I was pursuing a degree in business administration at that time with a major in insurance. And I was taking a class under a Professor McFall. Now, Professor McFall was an older gentleman, and he didn't see real well. And we were in a big basement lecture room. And he had a front door and a back door. And so what happened was, after a couple of weeks that we'd been in class, Gus McFall always called the roll, we started noticing that some of the seats were vacant. And yet, when he called the roll, everybody always answered. So what had happened was, some of the students, and I wouldn't have dared done that myself, but some of the students were answering for the ones who had left. So we had some students who were cutting class, but they had left some friends who were answering whenever their names were called, so as to appear that they were there. And Professor McFall was not picking up on that. He couldn't see, and he certainly couldn't see toward the end of the room. It was a big lecture room. So after a while now of that, we started noticing the first row next to the windows. Now this was before air conditioning. So the first floor next to the windows started being vacant. The students were not there, and yet when Professor McFall called their names, they would always answer. Well, we found out that ones in the row next to the windows were standing outside and answering when their name was called, and this was hilarious. And I told you now there was a front door and a back door. So what happened after a while is students started turning and getting out of their chairs and getting on their hands and knees and walking back to the back door of the lecture room. Now, I wouldn't dare do anything like that.
But you did do that.
Well, you caught me there. Yeah, I did. After a while, I saw everybody else was doing it. And of course, instead of the lecture hall being full of students, it got to the place where only about half of the students were in the lecture hall. And of course, some of them were answering for other people. And that row on the outside of the windows there, that was hilarious, that they were all gone. Anyway, we had a big time with it, and I did join in.
So you actually crawled to the back of the room and went out the door.
That's right.
You were guilty of that?
Crawled to the back of the room and went out the door. Now,
Well,
this was after the roll call had taken place.
Yeah, so here's the question. Did you pass that class?
Yes. I made an A in that class.
You did?
Yeah. That was in general insurance.
Wonder
so
what the other guys made.
Oh, I have no idea.
So they were just leaving because they thought the class was boring?
Well, no, well, how freshmen are. I mean, we were just freshmen at college, and we were finding, of course, it tough going. So we were looking for any kind of lighthearted moments we could have, and this was one of them. So it was funny, but it lasted the whole year.
Well,
people start laughing when people start crawling out the back door, and sometimes it'd be as many as 6 or 8 go out.
My goodness.
So,
So that was all guys doing that, wasn't it?
Well, I'm not sure. There were some girls in the class.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if all the girls were, if some of them weren't joining in.
So tell the one about that graduation you were talking about. Was
Okay.
that at Western Carolina?
Yeah, after, in years later, I was at Western Carolina. I was pursuing some graduate work in education administration. And in 1968, I believe it was, I started during the summer at Western Carolina in pursuit of my master's degree. So what happened was that toward the end of the session, we were getting ready to, some of them were getting ready to graduate. Well, I wasn't ready to graduate. But as we fellows, would always get together before class, after class, to socialize a little bit. And so as we got close to graduation, some of the fellows had bought their caps and gowns. And when they got in line, the story was told then that you better know what your grades are, because if you don't know, you're going to get a very ugly surprise.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So, at any rate, what was happening was, in years before that, and I'm not sure if that didn't happen the same time, in years before that, the students who were ready to graduate would all get in line to walk across the stage in their caps and gowns, and somebody from administration would be right over there to call it. When their names were called, the grades didn't get posted until the last day, and graduation was the last day. So what was happening was, when the names were called, he had a little chart of all of the graduates, and when supposed to be graduates, when the names were called, he would call, let's say, for example, my name is Stokes. So what would happen is called Stiefel. Yes, he sent him on in to get his diploma or degree. Stein, yes, he went in. Stokes, no. Take me out of line. I'm just pretending like I was in line. And as a result, I didn't get a degree. I couldn't walk across. I was already in my cap and gown.
Well,
now,
this was told. That didn't happen to you.
It didn't happen to me, but this was told for the truth. Now, whenever I got to be ready to graduate, nothing like that was going on. But this was told for the truth, that this was what was happening to the fellows.
So one would go one way and one would
That's
go...
right. That's right. They all wouldn't go across and get their degree.
But they already had on the cap and gown and
They had
everything,
the cap
and so
and
they
gown.
thought they were going to graduate.
Oh, yeah. But see, the grades had not been posted until right before graduation ceremony. In fact, I'm not even so sure that the grades were posted at all. So, at any rate, that got to be a real joke. And people didn't even believe it, but come to find out it was true. It was true. It was told for the truth, and then after we sort of talked around and asked some of the professors, they said, yeah, that's the way we used to do it.
Oh my
But it was
goodness.
kind of bad.
That was kind of embarrassing
Yeah,
for those
it
that didn't
was.
make it, especially if they had family there to
Yeah, I know
see the
it.
thing.
This was another hilarious time. But anyway, I just thought I'd go ahead and tell y'all those two.
Okay, now, did these dogs stay in your lap like that when you were in the chair?
Well, that's right. A lot of times, Steely.
Yeah, that's
This is Steely. Steely.
Peppy.
Peppy. Look up at Mama.
Peppy.
Look up at Mama.
Look in the camera. There
Yeah.
you are. He was asleep
Right.
for sure.
Now
And
this is all of them have a different place.
Yeah, there's Wheeler.
This is Wheeler back here,
And
and
this is
Peppy has
Steely.
got to always have this place.
Yeah, if Peppy doesn't get that place, he will keep bothering Papa until he makes Steely get down so he can
That's
have
right.
his place.
And he's sort of the leader of the pack.
Yeah,
so
he's the oldest.
He's claiming that place, and if Steely is in that place, he will stand down there and just stare at me
He does.
until I can make arrangements for him to be comfortable.
Well, what about this morning? We were getting ready to have devotions, and Mr. Bucky was holding the Bible, and Peppy kept putting his head up over the top of
That's
it.
right. That's
Yeah.
right. And
there's
so
Wheeler.
Steely, I know now to make sure that Steely gets this place, because otherwise we can't get started on anything. We
That's
can't do
right.
anything.
That's right. There's Peppy. He went back to sleep.
And this is his place right back here.
Yeah. Yeah, a while ago he laid his head over on your stomach and was going to sleep. All right, y'all. Well, there was another Bucky story, so we will see y'all next time.